Rabbi Yehuda Alkalai. At least 6 cities in Israel have a street named for Yehuda Alkalai. Who was he, and what did he do to deserve these honors? Here's a clue. In a quiet Jerusalem neighborhood, Yehuda Alkalai Street meets with Zeev Jabotinsky, Benjamin Disraeli, Hovavie, and David Pinsker. These street names all commemorate people or organizations that were monumental in the rebirth of Zionism and the Jewish national movement to resettle the Jewish people in the historic homeland. Hopefully, in future podcasts, we will have the opportunity to expand on each of them. For timeline perspective, we are dealing with the era Victoria was Queen of England. Americans were rushing for gold in California. Abraham Lincoln was planning to abolish slavery. The Suez Canal was being dug, and Mark Twain was touring the Holy Land and imagining the adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Yehuda Alkalai was a Sephardi or Mizrahi Jew who was born in Sarajevo, Bosnia, which was part of the Ottoman Empire. In 1798, he was a Torah scholar, a rabbi, and a Kabbalist. He was to become the chief rabbi of Samlin, Belgrade, at the time of the Serbian War of Independence. It is believed that the backdrop of the Serbian quest for national independence triggered his enthusiasm for practical revival of the Jewish national dream to return to the homeland and to again be a nation-state. His writings and teachings are thought to be some of the earliest foundations of political Zionism. He believed that the physical regathering and return of the Jewish people to the land of Israel was needed to set off the spiritual events of the redemption and the coming of the Messiah. Some would say that in his writings he foresaw the Holocaust and the establishment of the State of Israel, which would come 100 years later. In 1852, in London, he established the Society for the Settlement of Eretz Israel, and he moved to live in Jerusalem with his wife Esther in 1874. Legend has it that the grandfather of Theodor Herzl worshipped at the synagogue of Rabbi Alkalai in Belgrade, and that he read his writings and passed on these teachings to his children. Therefore, Herzl, who would later form the Zionist Congress and himself Rabbi, world leaders for the establishment of the Jewish state in the land of Israel, was influenced by the teachings of Rabbi Yehuda Alkalai. In his books, Rabbi Yehuda Alkalai calls for the revival of Hebrew as the spoken language, the establishment of a representative body of national leadership, and creating a fund for the purchase of land based on the stories of the fathers of the nation in the Bible who bought land in Hebron and in Shechem. So there you have it. This is the story of a Mizrahi Kabbalist rabbi in the Ottoman Empire who was a visionary for Zionism long before Herzl and long before the emergence of the European influences. I am David Haivri. I hope that this short podcast on Rabbi Yehuda Alkalai encourages others to conduct more intensive research on the fascinating figures of Jewish history. Please let me know if this inspires you. Please share this podcast with your friends and subscribe to this channel.